I brought my Torah for this.
What's
Chapter 22.
It is chapter 22. Oh no! Hey guys.
Oh man, so funny turn of events. I'll just give you some backstory into my day anyway. So Matt asked me this morning, he's like, what you gonna talk about? First thing in the morning, I'm like, I'm not, or he may ask me yesterday evening, I'm like, I'm not really sure. As of right now, I'm praying and I'm gonna hear from the Lord, you know, just whatever, you know. And I said, we can always pick up in Acts if that's what he directs, and we'll keep going in Acts and it'll be fine. And so I called Brother Andy this morning, and I was like, well, you know what, let's see if, because I wasn't quite settled on Acts, you know, like, I'm not sure. There might be something.
There's something fresh.
There's something, and that's what Brother Andy told me. He's like, I think we need to do something fresh. I kind of feel like, I said, okay, then be praying and listening.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Lord dropped a word, and I'm like, oh, Lord, they ain't going to want to hear about this again. But because it is a topic that I know we've covered before, and the Lord spoke to me about Balaam. I was like, Balaam. Lord, can you give me some more context? Can you give me some more anything? No. He just gives me Balaam.
Yeah.
And so I immediately go to fishing, as I do, because remember I was a nerd in school. I was a school nerd. So I'm gonna get on the things and find everywhere where it's at in Scripture. And as I was going and reading and doing all the things, like the little yeah.
I might need a light for
Gotcha.
this.
It's got batteries in it.
Okay.
So you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So as I was reading it, if you want to know the full text of where we're reading, we're in Numbers, starting at chapter 22, and this will go all the way through chapter 25. Don't worry, we're not going to sit here and read that to you. That would take forever. We're going to give you all the high points. But I got off into Hebrew commentaries, the Jewish commentaries on Balaam, because I was curious. Now, as I went back and read this, I really don't know exactly why I came to this conclusion, except he talks about God. But I always had this kind of misunderstanding that Balaam was like a child of Israel, or somewhere tucked away in the nation, something kind of deal. He is not. He is not Jewish. He is not an Israelite. Don't ask me why my brain went there, other than calling on God. But that's how I always thought of it.
If you think about this time in the Bible, in this time with Numbers and way, I mean, we're just coming out of Exodus and Leviticus and all. Okay, I can see why you would feel that way.
Yeah.
Not really giving it a thought. You would think, if this man's a prophet, if this man,
surely we're talking about the same type.
Yeah.
But here's where things get kind of lost in translation, because he was from the land by the Euphrates River. That was his stomping ground.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah. And many scholars, many rabbis believe he was a descendant of Laban. We remember Laban, Jacob's sneaky uncle, right? Rachel died because she hid the house gods. So you have a history of occultism, and he was trained in occult manners. But here's where things got fun. So I am reading out of my Torah, because it's got all the little notes, and it's just so neat. So if I get confused, it's because I'm going the opposite way.
My little note, can I just interject this?
Okay.
It's to do with verse 8,
Okay.
where it says, and he said to them, lodge here tonight, and I will bring that word to you as the Lord speaks to me.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, it says the Lord in Hebrew is Yahweh. The name of the Israelite God. Balaam is seen as one who hears Yahweh.
Yes.
A prophet, even though not an Israelite.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And that's kind of leading into this next thing, because this one has baked my noodle all day. So to me, it's just awesome. Here we go. Here's the note on Balaam, prophet of the nations. This dude was famous. They knew if you want somebody to get what's coming to them, you call Balaam. That's what he was famous for.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's who
That, well, we find out he couldn't really bless. Right. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. Okay, here we go on the notes. Let's try to follow because it's kind of weird. Yeah. Balaam, prophet of the nations. God, in his wisdom, ordained that the Gentile nations should have a prophet who would be comparable to Moses.
Wait a minute, where are we reading?
I'm reading in my notes in my...
Oh, so it's not...
This is stuff that... Okay. Listen, if you want to find this out, you get into the Jewish commentaries.
Okay. Start over, because I was trying to find it.
You're not going to find that.
Okay.
This is the background information that just had me going, what?
Well,
all day long?
I was hunting the verse and
no.
it wasn't that.
No. Okay. And if I was to start reading in my Torah, some things read very, very differently. Okay. Very differently. Okay. Balaam, prophet of the nations. He was famous. Everybody knew who Balaam was. God in his wisdom ordained that the Gentile nations should have a prophet who would be comparable to Moses, though much inferior to him, so that they would not be able to contend that if only they had someone who could communicate to them the will of God, they would have been as righteous as Israel. That has baked my noodle all day long.
Wait a minute. Read that again. Read it again.
Balaam was able to hear God and to communicate
to God
the will of God to the Gentile nations. God ordained that he should be able to do that so that the Gentiles couldn't say, well, you know, the only reason Israel is righteous is because they have somebody who hears from you and tells everybody what to do. That's the only reason. That's the only reason we're not righteous, because we don't have somebody to do that. So Balaam was supposed...
So they had somebody that could do that.
They had somebody that could do that. And yet... Now, here we got a cross-reference if we want to dig this up. We can... wait a minute. Oh, there's notes. It's cross-referencing notes. Hold on. Deuteronomy. Hold on. I got to get to the notes. Devarim? That's a fun word. I got to name these books in Hebrew. One day I'm going to learn it.
What is it?
It's a note in the Torah on Deuteronomy 34 and 10. So we can read the scripture because there's going to be a note about it that refers to this, the nations complaining. Why God just dealt with that. It says, never again has there arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom Hashem had known face to face. So it's got a cross note on that one. So let's see, what does 10 say? Wait. Face to face, Moses was familiar with God and was able to speak with him whenever he wished. According to Ramban, it's a rabbi, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Here and to Numbers 24, 1 and 2, the verse speaks not of Moses' familiarity with God, but of the degree of closeness that God permitted him to have. For his prophetic visions were as clear as if two friends were conversing face to face, understanding one another, not only through words, but through facial expressions. The sages note the Torah's statement here that in Israel there would never be a prophet like Moses implies that among the non-Jewish nations there could be such a prophet. And the sages explained that this prophet was Balaam. which seems to imply that in some ways his prophecy was even greater than that of Moses's. Okay, so it explains that by no means does this mean that Balaam was comparable to Moses, for no prophet ever approached the stature of Moses. Rather, Balaam could achieve his communication with God only by strenuous preparation and only regarding the topic he had chosen. Moses, however, could be summoned by God at any time and for any message. Accordingly, Balaam's prior awareness of the nature of his expected prophecy was an indication of his inferiority to Moses. So, Balaam had the ability to hear from God and to communicate to the nations, all for the purpose God knew. He gave, and that just strikes me because just like I was saying earlier, God gave the nations. Even when he had covenant with Israel, he was still giving the nations an opportunity. He was still communicating to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And even though he was communicating,
This just,
I know.
no, this just,
Wait a
minute.
It makes you noodle a little bit, don't it? Because the Bible doesn't say that Balaam was a false prophet. It says he was a wicked one, which is another noodle maker. Now, as I got to digging on the internet and read even more commentary than what is here, which the note on Deuteronomy references that Balaam could only choose a topic to hear from God about, right? So let me set the stage. All right, in case we've kind of jumped the gun here, Balak, the king of Moab, gets together with his enemies, the Midianites, and says, "Hey, we got a problem. There's a group that came out of Egypt. They done smacked down the Amorites, and we're next. We got to rally the troops." Now notice, it wasn't rallying the troops to an army. We got to call for the dude that can curse everybody. That's the route we're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't going to risk no army mess. We saw what happened to the Amorites. We're going to get somebody who can hear from God and snuff them out. Because Balaam's speciality was cursing people.
Yep.
And this goes back to what he was able to hear. Now here goes some fun things. Y'all brace yourselves because this just, again, my mind was like this today. I probably came to Matt's office 50 times like, did you know? It was. So Balaam had a very special skill set. He was able to perceive that at certain times God would sit in judgment. And during those times of God sitting in judgment, if he were to prepare the proper curse and push that wicked name into the forefront of God, the divine judgment may go a little harsher. And that's what Balaam did. He was able to perceive, oh, we about at judgment o'clock, okay.
Yeah.
Where's the shady guy you need me to put right there in God's tunnel vision? Because, he's going to judge somebody anyway. That was Balaam's specialty. That's kind of dark and morbid, but that's what he used his ability to hear from God to do. Well, I know he being judgy today. Here we go, boys. Let's see who's got the money, because I'll tell him who to be angry at. And that was Balaam. And he was famous because he was on it.
Mm-hmm.
He got a reputation for being very good at what he did.
Divination.
The things you find when you go for a little dig. Like, Lord, is this really what we're going with? So,
Wait.
All right.
Exactly.
No.
This
no.
is something, ain't it?
No, because God is just.
God is just.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody would be able to manipulate God.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that he was manipulating God. It goes back to the curse causeless doesn't come. Now remember, he could curse any wicked person. Think about it. He could do that. He could attach devils to all kinds of stuff. This is what we're getting down to. Why was he physically impaired from pronouncing a judgment on Israel? A curse.
Because they were blessed.
Because they were blessed. But he specifically said because there is no idolatry in the camp. Because there is no immorality in the camp. So he knew, and God spoke through him much like he spoke through the donkey as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he couldn't say anything other than what God said, although he did string Balak's men along and never exactly told them that God had forbidden him from going. Everything was a string along, so you see that he was motivated by greed. He wanted that money. He was motivated by a hatred of the Jews, which he hated them profusely. And that gets back into the Hebrew words used in his conversing with God.
I think you need to take a little side right there.
Okay.
Because even in this day, there is a lot of hate
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
towards the nation of Israel
You don't play
and
that
the
game.
Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a game as a Christian you want to play.
No, it's not.
No. No, it is. It definitely is not.
And let me tell you something, the lie that's being proliferated about the Jewish people of this day are not the Jewish people of the Bible.
Is malarkey.
It's crazy.
Do not buy into that lie.
That is going to take you down the path of anti-Semitism
Yeah.
and into replacement theology, and that is full of error.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you there. That's going to take you to a whole lot of problems.
Wow.
I mean, if you read the scripture itself, his covenant people, what did he say to Abraham? I will make of you a great nation. You're not going to separate the covenant, the people, and the nation. It is a nation.
It is.
Jesus himself pointed out, if you want to understand the end times, look to the fig tree, which was Israel. When she became a nation again, which was 1940.
8.
What was Papa doing?
That's 1948.
48. There you go. So, it's not that Balaam was manipulating God. He somewhat understood the system. Okay? Wicked people are always throwing out curses, whether knowingly or unknowingly. They are flying with accusations. Right? Satan, it says Satan is before the throne of God day and night making accusations.
Accusing the brethren.
Accusing the brethren.
Sorry.
Now, when we're walking in covenant, can't do nothing. They blessed. There's no sin in the camp, if you will. Now, it's gonna go on. The king sent his emissaries the first time in chapter 22. It says, now I believe the King James or whatever reads that he sent gifts and money and all that.
The second time?
No, the first time.
First time.
First time. Hebrew, that if you read in the Torah, it says he sent charms. Balak sent everything that Balaam would need to execute his curse. He gave him the supplies. He said, here you go, my friend. Do this for me. And Balaam asked him to stay overnight because he knew he would hear from God. And God told him, no, they are blessed. No, do not go with them. So what does Balaam do? Does he tell him that absolutely I can't do this? No. No, he implies I'm not at liberty to go with you. And the implication was, but if you sent somebody a little more important, maybe God would change his mind. When you get into the Hebrew, as much was communicated in what he didn't say as in what he did, because the choosing of the words were very, very deliberate in all of this.
He told them that to go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So they went back and told the king exactly what he said.
Well, the king understood the assignment, because what did the king do? He sent more important men.
More important.
With more money. With more money. And what did he say? Hey, stay the night. Maybe God will change his mind. But again, he was being very guarded with his words.
Yeah.
It was never that I can't curse. It was always in a manner that, well, you're not important enough yet for God to release this. So, here they go again. And he told them, he said, if Balak, this is verse 18, will give me his house full of silver and gold, and again the commentary says we see Balaam's heart. He was, again, communicating, surely there's a price on it. I would do it for the money. My heart is not in doing what I'm told to do. But, I cannot transgress the word of Hashem, which means the name, if y'all are wondering, because they replaced that in the Torah. My God, to do anything small or great. And now you two stay here for the night, and I will know what more Hashem will speak with me. And what does God say? If the men came to summon you, arise and go with them. But only the thing that I shall speak to you, that shall you do. It was as much a warning as it was a, you know what? You want it? Okay.
The Amplified makes it sound like...
If you want to, go ahead. You think that's a good idea? Go ahead. How many times do we know what God has told us, but we're going to ask him about 15 more times in hopes that we got some wiggle room? That never ends well. I can speak from experience. That don't end well. Don't do that.
Yeah, the Amplified makes it sound like that one well, he's telling them, even if I was to get all that.
Yeah,
but
I know.
when you go to the interlinear,
No.
there's no even if there. It's just that word, if. Sermons though were to give me, is what they got it translated there, but it's actually, well, if is part of,
Well,
whether or.
hold on, I will read you the note. So let's see, where are we at?
21.
Huh?
I've got
Go
one on
ahead.
21.
Go ahead.
And the note on 21, it takes us 2 Peter 2, in 15, it says, forsaking, I'm going to say read it, I think I'm going to go into Amplified.
Go ahead.
Forsaking the straight road, they have gone astray. They have followed the way of Balaam,
Oh, yeah.
the son of Beor, who loved the reward of wickedness. I'm saying righteousness. Yeah.
Okay, let's see, here we go. Here we go. Here's a note that starts on 13 about him telling them to go to their land. The first time he told them that God had refused to give them permission. It says, according to another Rashi, which is a rabbi, based on Takuma, Balaam chose his words carefully. He was too arrogant to admit that God had categorically forbidden him to go. By saying with you, he implied that it was only with this delegation that he could not go. But if Balak were to send a delegation of higher rank, the answer might be different. As the following verses show, Balak understood the message apparently Balaam hoped that God might relent or that Balak might abandon the plan and spare Balaam the embarrassment of another rejection.
Mm-hmm. Now, on 22, it takes back to Exodus 23 and 20. It said, behold, I am going to send an angel before you to guard you along the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, here in this one right here, it said, but God was angry
Oh,
because he was going,
Oh yeah.
and the
He
angel of the
was.
Lord took his stand in the way. That gets funny to me.
We could say fiddle around and find out, son.
Yeah, that donkey, no,
Okay, so
no.
again, you gotta understand, Balaam was the superstar sorcerer guy.
Yeah.
He had reputation. He was
Mhm.
so God is gonna set out into a truly humbling event
Yeah.
in the life of Balaam
with the donkey.
with the donkey. With the donkey. Okay,
Poor
so
donkey.
moving on, we know the story. God told him, okay, you want to? You think it's gonna be to your benefit? Go ahead, but you ain't gonna say nothing I don't tell you to say.
Mhm.
That's what you're limited to. And he gets up, he about to make some money. He don't like them people anyway, so he gonna go. And he goes.
Mhm.
And here comes the donkey, who sees the angel of the Lord, the sword drawn.
Mhm.
Now, the 3 times of the donkey saving his life, this was neat.
Mhm.
A lot of scholars say it points to the 3 patriarchs.
Mhm.
The first time that the donkey could go, he could go to the right or to the left, right? He could move to the right or to the left. But he could not go down the center, and a lot of your Jewish commentary, they say that referred to Abraham.
Mhm.
Because you could mess with Ishmael, you could mess with the kids of Keturah, but you better not touch Isaac.
Mhm.
You can go to the right, you can go to the left, but you better not mess with Isaac. That's going to get you in trouble. And then the path was even narrower, referring to Isaac. Well, you can mess with Esau, but you better not touch Jacob. And the final time, there was nowhere to go, because you better not touch Israel.
Mhm.
And that's when the donkey, why are you beating me? Which that in and of itself, we know through the old covenant laws, that was not how you treated your animal.
Well,
And so you see the wickedness and the cruelty in Balaam's heart.
I got a note.
Go for it. Go for it.
It says, this is 22 through 35
Mhm.
that this note is, and then I got one on just 22, so just hang on.
Mm-hmm.
It says, the account concerning Balaam's donkey
Yeah.
serves as a warning to Balaam. Balaam, as a prophet, should have been the one to see the angel of the Lord.
Mhm.
Instead, his donkey does. Balaam's desire to kill his donkey with a sword is ironic, since he is the one whose life is threatened by the sword of the angel.
Exactly.
Balaam's prophetic insight has been blinded by the prospect of reward.
Mhm.
Greed. God is apparently angry. Now this is for verse 22. God is apparently angry because of Balaam's readiness
Yeah.
to go without questioning the implications for Israel. Balaam is later chastised for his reckless attitude. Verse 32.
Yeah.
There is also a hint he may not fully obey and that he may speak more than God says.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. So here we have a narrow escape. A donkey speaks,
Mhm.
but we see more of Balaam's character. Now this is what really gets me. Now, he could hear God. He could hear God. He could communicate with God. But
And that donkey had to speak.
but his pride, his arrogance, and his greed were more important. It wasn't in his heart to do what God said, even though he could communicate and hear from him. I mean, do we understand these implications? Y'all, all that. And yet, he hated God's people. He was itching to make that money and get that status from the king to curse them, jumping at the bit to go, because he was siding with them, with the wicked ones who wanted the destruction of Israel. He was cruel, beating his donkey, ready to kill the donkey for saving his life.
He didn't have the right heart condition.
I mean, but he was able to hear from God.
Yeah.
I mean, are we catching the full weight of what we're seeing here? He could hear from God like Moses heard from God. I mean, there was a knowing. It wasn't that he didn't understand what God was telling him.
He was just disobedient.
And had that donkey.
He was just disobedient.
Yeah.
Had that donkey been obedient to Balaam and went straight
Okay.
ahead, that would have been it.
That would have been it.
He'd been sliced and diced.
But you know, the way God spoke through that donkey, it's almost a precursor for what old boy's about to live. Because he gonna open his mouth, and his words ain't gonna come out, his opinions ain't gonna come out, nor is his wants gonna come out. He's gonna say what God says to say, and that is it. As we move on, and I hope this isn't boring. I hope this isn't boring to y'all. As we get on in the story, Balak takes him to a high point of Baal, and he says, "All right, there they are. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Come on, this is gonna be good. You know, you can just see it now. There's the troublemakers. There they are. Go on. Do your thing, Balaam. Do your thing." And what does Balaam do?
They got to build seven altars.
Yeah.
Have 7 bulls, 7
yeah.
rams. I think it is.
Yeah. It says, let's see. After he saw the donkey, here we go. So, the angel said, okay, this is verse 35. The angel Hashem said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak to you, that shall you speak. So Balaam went with the officers of Balak. 36, Balak.
Now this was princes.
Yeah, Balak was king, but yeah. Heard that Balaam had come, so he went out toward him to the city of Moab, which is on the border of Ammon, which is at the edge of the border. Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not urgently send to you to summon you? Why did you not go to me? Am I not capable of honoring you?"
Okay.
Well, this was pomp and circumstance as well. He wanted the street cred. Remember, he was a prophet to the nations. He wanted the respect he deserved. It was just as much the one as the other, which is why Balak's going to send him out like a little dog at the end of it. It's a disgrace to him. See, Balaam's about to be caught with egg on his face because his heart wasn't right. Okay? So, 38. Balaam said to Balak, "Behold, now I have come to you. Am I empowered to say anything? Whatever word God puts into my mouth, that shall I speak." Not that he wanted to. He ain't happy about this. Because remember, he has a fierce hatred for Israel. He don't like them. But that's usually how it is. So, Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kiriath Huzzah. And Balak slaughtered cattle and sheep and sent to Balaam and to the officers who were with him. And it was in the morning, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the heights of Baal, and from there he saw the edge of the people. Yeah. So, moving into 23, right?
Mhm.
That's the end of that one. So he says, Balaam said to Balak, build for me here 7 altars and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams. So he got to do some work to hear from God, usually. And this is how he would go. And the commentary points out that he through his exercise and ritual, God would speak to him. Just, whatever, because, again, I think it's the heart condition, personally. But the last instance, the last attempt at cursing Israel was different because he couldn't conjure up a conversation with God. God hit him like a ton of bricks, and he encountered God like he had never before. But we see the true extent of his nastiness in the last encounter, in the last blessing of Israel. Yep.
See, this one says the 7 altars. This sacrifice is repeated in each new attempt.
Yes, he does.
There already would have been altars at the sanctuary, but Balaam had new ones built since they probably were Baal altars.
Yeah. Remember, he had the ability to hear from the true God. He wasn't hearing from devils. It wasn't devils giving him this information.
And it says Balaam leaves the pagan altars in order for the Lord to speak to him without accepting the pagan sacrifices.
Exactly. It's one of these things that when you start thinking about it, you just kind of shake your head and you kind of understand why you see people who have wrong heart conditions, but they can still hear the voice of God. Because they exist. They can still hear God. Doesn't mean they're going to do what he tells them to do. Doesn't mean that they're going to be obedient or that they like it or that they made a heart choice to do those things. They might do it reluctantly, much like the blessing of Israel, because they're forced.
It's just like during judgment. Okay? But we have cast out devils in your name.
Yeah.
He's given power. He don't take back gifts, but the gift is given.
Depart, I never knew you.
Depart. You know.
Workers of iniquity.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They didn't obey.
They didn't obey.
They had to give, but the whole key to everything, the key to everything here is obedience.
It is.
If you obey this, that means you're going to do exactly what it says. You're going to love. You're going to treat your brother good. You're going to do all the things that God said by simply obeying.
I see even more. There's a heart condition. There is a heart condition, and ultimately you're going to put it down to there's 2 basic heart conditions. There are 2 basic heart conditions. There is a heart condition that will willingly follow God. That will willingly follow.
No questions.
No
questions asked.
No.
Just blind obedience.
Just blind obedience.
That's what Abraham had.
But you couldn't get them out with a stick. You couldn't beat them off of the trail of God. That's where they gonna be.
That's the
where
way
they
Abraham did.
That's just it.
Just whatever he said to do, he did.
God said it, and I'm gonna do it. And I don't care how many people tell me it can't be done that way. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes me. I don't care if I have to accept that green is purple and black is pink. If God said it, that's how it is, and the old way is the wrong way, and I'm never going back to it. Period.
Yep.
Period. Period. It doesn't matter if I've always done it that way. I'm now doing it this way. And their heart condition is to faithfully follow.
Yeah.
They will walk faithfully in what they know. That's not saying there won't be slip-ups. That's not saying there won't be train wrecks. But they're quick to repent. I've sinned against you alone. They don't seek to justify their stance. It's just, I messed up, here I am, Lord forgive me, let's keep going. You ain't gonna shake me from it. These people, whether they read a chapter or a verse, whether they hear 5 sermons a day or 2 a week, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna deviate them from what they know in their walk with God. That is just period. The other basic heart condition is, well, I want to do what I want to do. You might can twist my arm and make me do some things, go through some actions, but I'll never do it willingly.
See, that's
the 2 basic heart conditions, one that will and one that
Serve him
won't.
with the stick.
Serving with the stick.
Yeah.
And I believe, that's why it says that there's going to be some, why we have scriptures that say, irritate people to love and good deeds.
hence my horse fly.
Because,
Not good.
yeah, exactly. Because you know what? For some,
We was trying to figure.
you know what? They're going to step into eternity and they're going to be forever grateful that somebody was there with a stick, poking them in their rear ends and making them go along. Because they're going to get there with the smell of smoke. They're going to be there in their underwear because they didn't do nothing with their life other than what they were shamed into doing. But thank God for the ones that loved them enough to shame them. Because it's better than the alternative. These people, when left to their own selves, they gonna do exactly what they want to do. They gonna go on independent ops. They gonna cover it up. They gonna go fully off grid, and they ain't gonna tell you nothing about their antics because they don't want to be held accountable. That's the main reason. They don't want you to tell them, here I come with my stick. Did you do this the way Jesus would do this, or are you still in your own thinking? Balaam, while he heard the voice of God, you can see which heart condition he had. It was not that he loved God. It was not that he wanted to follow him. It was, what benefit am I getting out here, and how can I spend this, and what does it do for me? And the New Testament tells us a lot about Balaam. So, he pronounces a blessing on Israel, which makes Balak really, 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 really mad. Really mad. And all Balaam is seeing at this point is, how can I curse them? How can I curse them? How can I curse them? So, they go to the next spot. And Balak is like, you sure you gonna do this time? You do know to curse them, right? You can just see it stewing, because instead of putting his money into getting the army better, into getting better trained men, stronger weapons, his money is better spent hiring a sorcerer to curse God's people. That should tell you everything you need to know about Balaam's success rate and about how the kingdom of darkness works. Because they're never going to seek to better their own selves. They're going to seek to destroy the children of God. Because Satan ain't got no productive or positive things like building up. All he does is tear down and destroy. He does not birth and create. He mars and disfigures. He's not a creator. God is. Which, that whole line about Balak coming and blowing smoke up Balaam's robe about, oh, I know how well you can bless and you can curse. That ain't a fact, because Balaam did not bless nobody. That was not his dig. He cursed people. And it got really ugly. So here we go again. We're looking, we're doing the things, and out comes another blessing. By this time, Balak is really, really mad. Really mad. And the third and final time, it says Balaam looked to the wilderness. Now, you might think nothing of it, but his entire attitude toward the assignment changed just in looking to the wilderness. Because in looking to the wilderness, he remembered, oh yeah, the golden calf out there. Okay. It was no longer about whether I can pronounce a curse on this people.
Mm-hmm.
He went on with pronouncing a blessing, but the plan had been hatched. He knew exactly how to distance God's people from God in that moment. That in that looking to the wilderness, his true evil came to light. Now Balak is going to send him off. He's going to send him off in shame. And in our Old Testament, we do not have a lot of the details of the plan here. But you can go to the Talmud. The Talmud in Sanhedrin 106, I believe it is, eh? And you can read all about the nasty little plan. Revelation 2:14, is that what references the evil plan?
I think so.
So we know that it lines up
Let me
with
go back to
Scripture.
it, because I was looking
Good.
at something else.
Okay, that's fine.
Revelation 2 and 1.
I believe it's 14,
Thank you.
I believe. Oh, I knew one better.
Yeah. Says, I'm gonna read it. Ooh, that's long. Amplified. Amplified. Never, it says, what? Nevertheless?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. Nevertheless, I have a few things against you.
Mm.
You have some people there who are clinging to the teachings of Balaam, who taught Balak to set a trap and a stumbling block before the sons of Israel to entice them to eat food that had been sacrificed to idols and to practice lewdness, giving themselves up to sexual vice.
Okay.
Yeah,
It got nasty quick.
yeah.
Remember, Moab and Midian don't really like each other, but they have a common enemy. So Balaam comes to him and says, look, you send out them foxy ladies. You send out your best looking crew. And you go seduce the men. Oh, you go invite them to dinner and to parties and you sugar up on them and well, let's see how long that blessing's going to hold. Because remember, curses are being spoken day and night.
Mm-hmm.
But Proverbs tells us that the curse causeless can't come. It can't stick to you unless we tear some things down. Unless we make room for it to. So, this was not just the common women. No. They went so far as to send the aristocracy ladies, the high-bred ladies of Midian and Moab, to seduce the higher up. They tried to seduce the common men. They tried to seduce the leadership, including Moses. This is what the Jewish tells us. They didn't win with him. He said, nah, we ain't doing that. But, surely, there were some addle-brained individuals that went that way. And they went to the feastings, and they went to whatever. And the girls would pull out their little idols, and you got to bow to our idols, and they would bow to the idols, and then they would commit all kinds of sexual sins, gross immorality, to the point that even the leadership began to fall. And God was very angry. And we learn about this in chapter 25 of Numbers. And he calls Moses to call the nation together, to call the leaders of the tribes. And basically any man that committed these sins was to be hanged publicly. Now, the normal protocol was that 2 witnesses had to confirm that you was guilty, but God said, no, there is a plague. He sent a plague into the camp. God didn't send it, but because they tore down their hedge,
The devil
surely did. Balaam hatched a plan. You want to mess them up? Show them something pretty.
We can.
Show them something that they really would like. Come on. You know, good food and fast women. Come on. This will get it. Well, in the midst of that judgment, who was it? Was it Zimri? He got him a good-looking woman, and they commenced to committing sexual sins outside the door of the tabernacle of assembly, right out in the open in front of God and everybody. That's how comfortable they were, how brazen they were. See, because it keeps escalating. It'll be in your face nasty. And there you have it. So, Phineas, Aaron's grandson, got a case of the righteous indignation. And he jumped up zealously because this was also allowed for in the law. Understand this. The law specifically said that if they were out there publicly doing that mess, then you was to kill them right then and there. There was no need for a trial. Strike them down. That was the law. Isn't that fun? That seems kind of rough, but no. What's rough is Phineas killed this family leader because the man out there in the midst of God and everybody was a leader. Zimri was a leader in his tribe.
The Simeonites, a leader.
Yeah. So Phineas speared him and her to the ground. One spear. Wham! And it says that the plague was lifted, but 24,000 people died for that sin. Do you think it was 24,000 individuals that was out there actively sinning? No. No, it wasn't. But just like we learned in Jericho, 20 righteous men fell dead because one man stole from God. Because it was in their midst. It was accepted and it was tolerated amongst God's people. The Bible doesn't have anything good to say about Balaam. But what struck me, here you have a man that God granted the ability to hear from him as close to the level of Moses as he could for a Gentile. And what did he do? Even knowing and hearing from God, he would not follow him.
It said that when Phineas, by this act of zeal, becomes the next in line for the high priesthood.
Yes, he did.
He got promoted.
He ain't playing.
He got promoted.
And anyway, that was really where God had me, and it was kind of funny because then you started telling me where God had you in Revelation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was listening to somebody today, and I thought, man, it's about India. During tribulation during tribulation, let's see, how'd it go? I should say it went, see, we're raptured up. We're just taken.
Yep.
We don't go. We're Ministries. And so the 7 years of tribulation starts. And let's see.
Well, we're in the 7-year marriage.
Yeah, well, we're up there
Way
in
up there in the
marriage,
feast.
right. So the people here, whoever survives the tribulation,
You got the flesh Jews and you got the nations.
yeah, whoever does survive goes into the 1,000-year reign.
The sheep nations, the ones who treated Israel decently.
We come back, and in our not our earthly bodies, but our,
We get a glorified body.
yeah, our glorified bodies, we will be there. They won't be there like that.
They don't have a glorified body.
No.
They will have to eat of the tree of life and
Yeah.
the healing,
They gotta do all that.
all the things. Now Satan ain't nowhere to be seen. He's locked up.
No, yeah, he's locked up. I forgot to let that part out.
Yeah, that's
He's
important.
still locked
He's
up,
locked up.
but,
No devils to tempt.
no.
None of
But
that
after
mess.
the millennial reign, he'll be let loose.
This is the
Yeah.
millennial reign. Just
Millennial reign,
just get-
yep, the 1,000 years.
And those people gonna reject
People-
God then.
No, they will not.
Yes, they will.
Still, well, no, they sin. They're still sin. They find sin.
we get to the point
See.
where they reject God.
They
Yeah.
find sin. Man will find sin even without the devil.
You don't have to be, but yes, it is a rejecting of
Yeah.
God in the end. Absolutely. And that's the point that we're
Uh,
getting at.
Yeah,
That you don't have to be tempted to just decide not to serve God.
yeah, it's a,
It doesn't require a devil.
no,
I mean, what tempted Lucifer?
Pride.
He just conceived it in his heart. It wasn't some outside something.
mm-mm.
It was just his own heart, and he
His
said, you
own.
know what?
Yeah,
I ain't doing it anymore.
yeah.
I mean, can we even imagine a world governed by Jesus Christ?
Mm.
I mean, think about that. Think about how awesome that's going to be.
Yeah,
He's going to take care of everybody. Yeah, you're going to have some rules to live by.
You know,
But it's going to be good. No devil harassing you.
That.
But men and women are still going to find stupid if it's in their hearts.
yeah, in that, for that 1,000 years.
but you know, that's what really, like I said,
Yeah.
got me with that girl's NDE.
Mhm.
That one
Yeah.
that was talking to John Burke, because she said that the whole time that she was ascending,
Mm-hmm.
she was overjoyed because she realized, look here, that God, that everything that she had heard was true.
There's nothing but love.
But, and that and there was nothing but love.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, it was the best day of my life. The best day, even though, you know, it looked like it was horrible.
Right.
She said, it wasn't horrible. She said, I was going, and she said, I felt great. And she said, and I was excited because I wanted to just be in heaven with him.
Yep.
But then. And then when she got into his presence, he told her, you missed the boat. And that's when she gets really emotional, because John Burke was like, and she admitted, she said it wasn't that he had rejected me, but that I had rejected him over.
And that's
and
exactly
over.
what it is. It's not on his end. The good news is every one of us has the opportunity to be a child of God. Every single one of us. That's the good news. Every single one of us has the ability to hear God speak. Every single one of us. But what are we doing with it when He does speak? And the Jewish people got a little saying out of the story of Balaam. And this is another one that was like a brick hitting me right between the eyes, and then we'll close out because I know we're a little late. But it went something like this. It is better to be harshly rebuked by love than blessed by hatred.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cause see,
Whew,
Wow.
saying
yeah.
that, you know, in saying that, think about the number of people in this world that walk and say, they're walking around with this in their mind. I don't think it's as hard as Christians make it out to be. We don't make it out to be
Yeah,
hard.
it ain't hard.
I mean, you just gotta obey, right? I mean,
Do
that's
you
the
really
key.
believe it? What you
That's-
doing?
That's the key. You just obey, you know what I mean? come on, you gotta obey laws and rules somewhere, so are you not gonna do them? But they think that, you know, I do good by people, I do good for people, I got a good heart.
Good person.
I love people, you know, and I love, but you know,
Well, she said that she had made the comment, well, I'm a good person and that's just gonna have to be enough if you're God. She said she had told him that.
Yeah, that ain't how it works. You don't call shots.
no.
And that's just, that goes back to the conversation about the cow, the golden calf. Why you gonna worship an animal, a dumb beast? Well,
Yeah.
because the real God is yourself.
Right.
And anything that doesn't require somebody telling me what to do, I'll take it. So
Yeah.
you wanna make a gold cow, let's make a gold
That's
cow,
it.
and thus it's our God. Because it ain't telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm telling me what to do.
Mhm.
But anyway, I just thought that might, well, the Lord put me on the path of Balaam, and I hope
Yeah.
that that's where He wanted me to end up at. But just remember, hearing from God ain't enough. Where's your heart condition? You arguing with Him? You arguing with Him? Or when He tells you to do something, is it just 90 miles an hour that way? We gonna do what He says, and we ain't looking back.
You know, we're so close.
Yes.
And with everything that has transpired, we need to be constantly examining our hearts.
Mhm.
Constantly, look here, constantly casting down vain imaginations.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Making sure
Absolutely.
that we're not letting anything in
Yeah,
that don't need to come into us.
that's it.
Bitterness, hatred, unforgiveness, pride, rebellion, whatever.
I think we're gonna close, you know, with this proverb that they took away. It's better to be harshly rebuked. Harshly, it's not indicative of lightly. It's better to be harshly rebuked by love than blessed by hate. Hey, guys, we love you. God loves you. There ain't anything you can do about it. We'll see y'all next time.